host with the most channel as always. Welcome back. So we are continuing our not Friday the 13th. No, Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sorry. Only reason why I was saying Friday the 13th is because I'm drinking out of my new little tumbler here that I received from one of my girls from work. Sorry, no, we've already done Friday the 13th. We're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, Part Dos, Freddy's Revenge. Yeah, I don't know why Freddy's getting revenge in this movie, because the kid he's going after had nothing to do with his killing, nor did his parents. I'm just saying. Anyway, small little rant. Anyway. But, did it again. Nightmare on Elm Street, Part Dos. Released in 1985, but the events of this movie takes place 5 years after the fact, which kind of makes sense in a way because when you think about it, in my first video, I was saying how the first movie was written years before its release and everything, and Wes Craven was shopping it around. So timeline-wise, it kind of makes sense, but I know if you're just kind of like watching it straight through, you're kind of like, what? But whatever, that's not even a big deal. But yeah, so Nightmare on Elm Street 2 stars Mark Patton, Kim Myers, Robert Rusler, who was fresh off of filming Weird Science, and actually I think, if memory serves, the story goes that the last day of shooting Weird Science, Robert Downey Jr. actually gave Robert Rusler a ride to his audition for Nightmare 2, so that's a fun little fact. I always find that interesting. But anyway, we also have Cleo Gulger, Marshall Bell, and of course, reprising his role as Freddy, Robert Englund, who, a lot of you probably already know this from the Never Sleep Again documentary, that he actually initially was recast, Robert Englund, because the director, someone was kind of like, well, who cares? He's just a guy in a rubber mask and stuff. And with a couple of shots already being done and everything, they kind of quickly realized, like, okay, no, like, this is more than just a guy in a rubber mask. Like, there's a personality behind that. We gotta use him, so kudos to you. So anyway, so yeah, like I said, this takes place 5 years after the first one. Mark Patton's character Jesse and his family just moved into the house that Heather Langenkamp and her family were living in. I don't mind that, and I kind of like that they stayed with the house and everything. But it would have been nice to at least have, like, one of the characters to maybe return, like, John Saxon's character, just to, like, have a little more of a tie-in to the first one. But you know what? I'm not even going to totally gripe about that, because we do get those characters in Part 3. And Part 3, we all know, is probably one of the best sequels to this franchise. But we'll get to that when we get to Part 3. I keep getting sidetracked. I know. I'm sorry. So yeah, so, he's the new kid in town and everything, and, Kim Myers' character and, Robert Rusler's character kind of are quickly, like, befriend him, and there's another young lady that, they got their little tight group of friends, a little 4 friends and everything. And I have to say, I need to bring this up because, I'm going to talk about it in a minute or two anyway, and I know people are going to be like, hello. This is commonly known as the gay Nightmare on Elm Street for many reasons, and the people involved with this installment have finally gone on the books for saying, yeah, we kind of wrote it that way. It was supposed to be a little bit more subtext or subtle and everything. It's up in your face, and I think that's okay. I have to say, no pun intended, but very ballsy move to make this kind of a more pro-gay movie, especially in the middle of the 80s, in the midst of the whole AIDS crisis and everything. And plus, too, people were finally, I know people in the past were kind of coming out as gay and stuff, but you kind of started seeing more of a trend of a little more pro-gay in the media and stuff. So yeah, it didn't like totally blow down the doors or anything, kick the doors down or anything, but it was a start. And so, this movie, I think this is one reason why I've always enjoyed this movie, this installment, is that it was a little ahead of its time. Yeah, there were other movies touching on or kind of incorporating the gay lifestyle or just kind of coming of age with being gay and everything. So, but thank you. Once again, this is why I love horror so much, because they'll tackle certain issues like this way before mainstream does or anything. So kudos to this and everything. I know this is not everyone's favorite sequel to the franchise, but you gotta give this movie props in a lot of ways. So, in plus two, our lead actor, Chad Patton, for those of you who do not know, although I feel like this is pretty irrelevant, but he actually is homosexual in real life, and kudos to him for playing this role that was very kind of, even back then, as he was like reading and acting, he was kind of like, okay, this is kind of a gay movie, but he did it. He had faith in the movie, and he has become sort of a little bit of a gay icon for a lot of people over the years and everything. So that right there is just kudos. Thank you, Mr. Mark Patton. Thank you. If you ever see this, thank you. My little heart goes, it just adores you and everything. So thank you for everything you have done. So your little niche in horror, well worth it. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, with this being kind of known as, like, the gay nightmare, and I know a lot of this has kind of been said before, but the more I do watch this movie, the more I do see it and pick up on it, especially as I've gotten older and everything. So, obviously, you have Mark Patton, new kid in town, has a couple of friends and everything, a couple of different relationships, and he's really kind of coming of age, getting to know his environment, getting to know himself, definitely, discovering who he is sexually and everything. Now, even though he and Lisa, the Kim Myers character, even though they're supposed to be the love interest and everything, you do feel a little bit of tension between Robert Russler's character and Jesse a little bit. So I feel like, he's kind of like close to both of these people. And, he's really kind of like figuring out, like, I really do like this girl and everything, but maybe I like her a little bit more as a friend. And, they never outright say that Rustler's character and Jesse are, like, attracted to each other, or even that necessarily Jesse's into Robert Rustler's character, but you kind of feel some tension and everything. And I like that they did that, especially, too, when he kind of decides to up and leave the pool party to go to Robert Rustler's place, and it's like, I want to sleep with you and stuff, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a little cheesy, it's a little dated. They could have maybe used a little polish on some of the dialect and everything, but it's effective in the fact that Robert Rustler's character, gotta give him props, because initially, it seems like there might be some animosity, like they're not gonna get along, like, maybe Robert Rustler's character is gonna kind of pick on Jesse just for, whatever reason. He's the new kid, he's gonna be the tough guy, but, he actually becomes a really good friend, and I feel like, especially with this last time that I watched this, I feel as though Robert Rustler's character kind of maybe knows that this kid is struggling a little bit with himself, finding his own identity. He might be gay, but doesn't really bat an eye at it. He's not like, oh my god, you could be gay, you could come on to me. He's kind of like, okay, cool. Okay, you're scared right now, something's coming after you, you want to, like, spend the night in my room. Okay. Like, not a big deal. Like, he just doesn't make and that's the thing, no one in this movie, except for, like, really maybe the parents, really make a big deal about that, It's like, it's not a big deal, which I love about this movie. Once again, another reason why I really enjoy this movie. So, but yeah, I love the Grady and Jesse character relationship in this and everything. But yeah, and the parents too. Clu Gulger plays Jesse's father, and kind of old school and everything. Very like tough. You got to show that you're manly and everything and masculine. So he's always kind of trying to like do repairs around the house and everything, even though he's a little bit of a klutz or whatever. And his mom, Jesse's mom, kind of at one point sort of starts realizing, like, there's something with our son. Like, she's picking up on different things about Jesse that, and she kind of doesn't really want to fully admit that maybe he's gay, because it's, like I said, this is 1985. It's like, ooh, what, so she's trying to think, like, okay, is it drugs? He's got to be on drugs. Like, anything is better than him being gay. And once again, they don't really say that, but it's kind of like they go through everything of, like, maybe he's on drugs. Okay, he's on drugs, especially Clu Gallagher's character, where it's like, he just needs a good kick in the butt. Maybe we should go send him to a methadone clinic and he'll be fine. Like, yeah, the methadone's going to clear up the gayness in him. But, there's also the sort of mentality. I know that mentality is still pretty relevant today. It's still pretty prevalent in society today, unfortunately. So you're gonna go that route. Being straight is a disease too. I'm just saying. More so, being an asshole is the worst thing. I'm just saying. Not like the absolute worst things. There's worse things than that, but you guys get my drift. But yeah, so his parents are kind of like in denial, but they know something's going on, and they're just kind of hoping that it's like drugs or something, or maybe he got his girlfriend pregnant or something. Like, anything other than being gay, they're almost like hoping for. It's like, but yeah. And here's another thing too. So like the deaths in this movie, and I know, like, even in like not even really in the first one as much, but this one, like, you have the coach played by Marshall Bell, the great Marshall Bell, terrific actor, who plays the gym coach, or the gym teacher / coach, who actually, we come to find out with reasonable deduction that he is gay, because he's going to these sex bars, these S&M bars. Maybe he's not quite admitting to himself that he's gay, but you're definitely like, dude, you're gay. I think even when I was like 5 and I first watched this, I was like, is he gay? Like, does he like boys? Like, they never flat out say he's gay, but I mean, that getup and go to the bar. I'm pretty sure in this movie, his boyfriend is Bob Shea behind the bar and everything. I'm just saying. Is there a theory out there about that? I'm just saying. I'm wondering, because think about it. Couple of sequels later, what's Bob Shea doing? He's being a teacher. He can't cut it as a gym teacher. He's being the history teacher, whatever. Is there a fan theory about that? I don't know. You guys let me know, because you guys are more into tune about some of that stuff. I'm just saying. I've never seen it, but it'd be interesting. Anyway, why am I so all over the place with this review? I don't know. But like, so, Jesse runs into the gym teacher at this like S&M bar and everything in the middle of the night. And, because basically he's having like almost like a nervous breakdown at this point, and instead of, kind of being like, oh, hey, you seem like there's something wrong with you, Marshall Bell's character's kind of like, okay, I caught him, he knows I'm here, I better do something to kind of scare him, almost like a scare tactic in a way, where it's like, okay, well, you know what, yeah, you see me here, but I'm still tough, and I can still like break your arm. I'm gonna make you run laps. I'm gonna make you run laps at like 2 a.m. Weird, but whatever. So, after that, Jesse's taking a shower and everything. For some reason, he makes him take a shower, and that's when Marshall Bell obviously gets killed in that infamous scene with being tied up. How appropriate, and then the huevos going after him and everything, and then, of course, Jesse's alter ego, aka Freddy, kind of comes out and kills him. And he kind of realizes, too, as he goes on, like, shit, like, I killed these people, like, even though it was, like, he kind of knew, like, okay, it wasn't him, it was Freddy using me, but I still killed them. No one's gonna believe me that this guy from my dreams is the one who actually killed them. Oh my, so he's almost like facing, like, the music and everything. But the thing too is, like, with the few deaths that are in here, like, no one questions that he's the one. At least, you know, I guess we can't really argue that after Robert Ressler's character's death, um, because it was towards the end of the movie and he had already, like, kind of changed back to himself or whatever and defeated Freddy. But even after Marshall Bell's death, nobody really questions it, even after the cops bring Jesse back home after, like, wandering the streets naked. Kind of weird, but whatever. Especially, too, if, like, you see that there's a teacher that is dead, and then you realize, okay, hey, the kid that we picked up last night goes to the school. Are they connected? Like, it just, that always kind of, like, fascinates me. I'm like, I know I'm reading too much into it, but I know this movie just is, it touches on so many things. It really does. And I give it so much props to, so many props for being pretty innovative, breaking down a few doors. I know that since then we've had better adaptations of the gay lifestyle, the gay struggles and everything, and the effects of, or the struggles with AIDS and everything. And that's the other thing, AIDS. I know I've kind of brought up AIDS a few times, but I almost do, and I know this is very cliche what I'm about to say, but I do almost feel like Freddy in this one almost is seen, or could be seen a little bit as AIDS or HIV, because it's like, you know, trying to get inside you, trying to control you, and if you know, don't play your cards right, you could then kill other people by just sleeping with them. Like, you know, little things like that. Because I know some people have kind of brought up the HIV and AIDS issue with this movie, but I've never really heard it as detailed or kind of thought of or spoken of as much as other movies. So I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think of Freddy in this one specifically? And I'm not saying like the rest of the series, but number 2, Freddy's Revenge. Do you think that he's almost looked at as almost like a social commentary of AIDS and HIV? Like, let me know in the comments. And even if you guys want, I challenge you, I'm not going to do this as tag or anything, but if some of you guys are kind of thinking about this, feel free to do your own video about it and kind of discuss that. Like, come on, let's get a discussion going on. I'm just saying. So, I mean, I don't know. That's how I feel about this. Like I said, I know that's so kind of cliche. It's like, oh, okay, that was such a type of AIDS. What's the, like, AIDS social commentary in this movie? So, I don't, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, guys, so that is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, aka The Gay Nightmare. Anyway, so let me know what you think in the comments of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Is it one of your favorites? Is it one of your least favorites? Let me know. Give me your thoughts, you guys, on this video. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.